Hamilton Hills is a quirky mix of urban hipsters and longtime residents who are making life work in this Northeast Baltimore community.
We moved into Hamilton Hills 61 years ago. We had 2 children and just us, and I was expecting my 3rd child.
Recently I've lived in Hamilton Hills for about 2.5 years. And prior to that, as a child, I was born here and lived here until I was 20.
I've lived in Hamilton Hills for 29 years.
My wife and I chose to move to Hamilton Hills in 2007.
We moved in the neighborhood in 1967, and been here 50-some years.
I was attracted to the neighborhood because of the wide open spaces, the great foliage, the fact that trees were available and that we were able to do most of the things we wanted to do easily by walking or driving.
And now I've lived in this senior housing, the John Manley House Senior Housing, which used to be St. Dominic's School, where I went as a child.
It was a very nice neighborhood because it was all young people with young children, and they all played around together.
We'd moved here to start a family, and son was born a few years later. So really, we came here for a family community.
I raised 3 sons. The youngest one is 22, the oldest one is 32. I would not have picked a place where I could not grow and where my children were in danger.
We came in the neighborhood, it was full of young children, new families. We bought the house. It was built in '57, 10 years old when we bought it. And our children grew up in this neighborhood with other children.
We found a lovely little house, a little duplex, 1903, cute little porch and 2-car garage, and it was a great price, right walkable to a main street.
One of the other things that we liked about the neighborhood when we first moved in, or maybe a year or so afterwards, is the shopping center that they built up there. It was within walking distance. It was an Acme, and then on the corner was the McLean drugstore, and we could do all our prescriptions there.
Hamilton Hills was a wonderful place to grow up. We had a huge yard, because it's suburbs mostly, and lovely. I could walk to school, around the corner to the public school. I could walk to the CYO, Catholic Youth Organization, up here at St. Dominic's. We walked to the ice cream parlor. We went to the newsstand and got comics on Sunday. It was great.
Hamilton Hills and Hamilton in general, the larger area, typically make the top 10 up-and-coming lists because we've got a decent housing stock. You get great value for the size of the property. It's low crime. We're on Hartford Road, so you have a good connection down to Johns Hopkins area and downtown if you work down there. And we've got a cute little main street.
One of the great aspects of this particular locale are the trees, the housing, which is not extravagant but beautiful, and people who are interested in one another. How you doing today, sir? Did I have any bills or checks? Not today. We live just close enough to each other to know what's going on, but far enough away that we have privacy.
The city paper called us suburban light, I think is the way they described us, which I'm not sure if that's an insult or not.
Hamilton Hills has the suburbia, you know, the old-fashioned suburbia with the big lawns and the big trees and the gardens on nice side streets. And that's what I remember growing up, when we could run through people's yards and go to the next yard and play and go to school. It was wonderful.
When we moved in, there was no awning on the house, but breakfast meals, the sun comes up right over there where that tree's sitting, and it would shine right in the window. And it was, it was annoying to me. And so I went over to her mother's house and dug up these little seeds that were coming down from the trees. You see them float down, and I dug a little seed out, a little shoot up, and I put it over there, and I watered it a lot, and you could see and you look at it now, I don't know how you'd ever move it.
I have a feeling that the roots are kind of combined with the foundation of the house now
everything
too,
else now.
and maybe even the next door's house.
Yeah.
I'm not going to worry about that.
Well, my history in this community dates back to when I was a child.
We are just an open community which trying to work and get our families the best we can.
There's a little stamp of each individual person who's lived here.
To put your feet where so many before you have walked.
That kind of thing sends chills up your spine.
Hamilton Hills has everything going for it. First off, we have like at least a half a dozen restaurants, and they're all wonderful. We have the Clementines, it's a catering, but they've also come back as a restaurant like they were. And we have the new Silver Queen Cafe, which people love, and this Lost in the 50s Diner, and the pizza places. Like we have 2 pizza parlors, and we have a Chinese carryout. I mean, what more could you want?
So one of the things that connects new Hamilton residents and old Hamilton residents, the people who have the roots of the community, are that we're all interested in sustaining what has worked, but also building upon it.
I think when communities are able to create a platform where we interact, where we are interested in communicating, not on Facebook, not on Twitter, but face-to-face communication where things can be honestly stated, we are in a great space.
The point is, know your neighbor. Never not know your neighbors, because you may need them someday, they may need you someday.
We have a couple of festivals a year. I know we have this one, we have one coming up, and then we have the Derby race, and that definitely nurtures the community because that means kids, you know, they coming on down Harford Road on these derbies.
The Hamilton Derby happens the weekend of Halloween every year. This will be its 8th or 9th year. Younger children within a weight range, because they're derby cars. Each of the businesses on the the Hamilton Business District own a derby car, and kids get to race up and down the hill.
The Northeast is the place to be because of the culture, because of our environment, because of the fact that we are together in many respects. We are educationally rich.
Hamilton Elementary Middle School is one of the GATE programs for gifted and talented in Baltimore City.
Right behind us is a high school. It originally was Northern High School, which provided an opportunity to a single community of students. Now it has changed and has become a charter school, a school that houses different students. The school. It is a school of business and law, and we are confident that it makes our community richer.
I think Hamilton Hills is unique, and that it's an old community that's a fresh new community at the same time.
When I look around Hamilton Hills, I see a lot of things that have moved forward over the past few years, a lot of things that have gotten a lot more professionally refined, but also a lot of the character and charm that made it a stable and family-oriented neighborhood beforehand.
As an artist, I like living in Hamilton Hills because it's attractive. I love the old churches, they're beautiful. I feel, safe here, emotionally. Of course, I'm attached to it because I grew up here, and it's emotionally reaffirming because it hasn't degraded, it hasn't gone down.
Well, the vibe of Hamilton Hills is pretty much just it's a family community. It's a quiet family community. Most people here go about their day without, too much worry about it. People joke that we're the hipster retirement community.
I like the fact that I have grass and trees and foliage, so to speak. But I also like the fact that it is a cosmopolitan environment where people are different, where their culture can be expressed, and also we have enough communication with one another that we can contribute again to the well-being of our fellow community members. Hamilton Hill's strengths are a lovely tree-lined environment, great housing, great people who care about each other, good schools that are accessible, and a spirit of togetherness or solidarity that is unparalleled in the city of Baltimore.
For more information on Baltimore neighborhoods and full episodes of My Town, go to www.charmtv.tv.